Hi guys, it is Tammy with Cheers to Creativity, and I'm here to help you be creative with Essential Stencils. So, I'm so glad you're here joining me. Please, please, please let us know when you pop on and let us know where you're watching from. We like to know how far our reach is. And just like your ambassadors being from all over, we know all of you watching are from all over as well. So, I want to paint a porch leaner with you tonight. And I know which one I want to do. I've had it for a little while. It is the one that says, oh, hello there. And I just think that's really sweet. But I can't decide. Do I want to have flowers behind it? Or do I want to have something like a cute little bunny? So I'm going to show you both of my options and see if you can help me decide which one I should paint. Because that's kind of what I should paint first. Maybe. We'll have to decide. But I'm Cheers to Creativity. Please go over and like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram as well. You'll find all sorts of things we do on our page. We try to do a couple lives a week, giving you tips and techniques and some classes. And it's just a lot of fun to share what I do with you. So I'm going to put you down so you can see the board. And then you can give me in your comments. And I'm going to peek up here and peek down on my iPad and see if I can see which you all prefer. So let me just get you faced down. So this already has flowers on it. This is the flowers from the Sunflower 2-pack that came out last spring, I believe. Okay. Or we could start off with this whimsical bunny. Both are going to be very fun, very easy to do. Give me just a moment of grace here. I'm trying to find us all. Oh, look at you. We got people from Washington and Texas. Wow, you guys are all over the place. So, who has a preference of whether we should have a bunny behind our saying or whether we should put some flowers around it? I'm up for either one. I've got one bunny. Oh, I'm so glad you're here to see us. So just hit the bunny, please. Okay. Well, I'm going to move this board off because I've got another board to work on. It's a little bigger. My husband and I do a lot with reclaimed wood. And this happens to be an old piece of barnwood. You certainly can do this on your regular pine boards that you get at your hardware store. Either one. The flowers are pretty. Flowers would stay up longer. Which ones should we do? So I'm going to show you first how the words are going to line up. Oh, hello there. My board is a little longer. It's actually about 5 feet 3 inches. The stencil only really would require you to have something that is more like 4 feet. But my idea is to put my words more on one side and do the design a little more on this side. So, oh great, Essential Stencil's helping me out which ones we should paint. So, I do need to know before I begin, because if I do the bunny first, I think we're going to do the bunny. That's what I think we're going to do. I think we're going to pull up the bunny, and maybe we can throw a couple flowers in there too, okay? So with that, I'm just going to set my words aside for a second. I love Essential Stencils. They clean up so well. They're so sturdy, and you can use them over and over again. So I'm going to start off with just some gray. Sure I am. Some gray that's going to drizzle out of my container. That's not going to work real well for us. I'm using Deco Art paint. Whoa, that should do. That apparently I didn't clean out my end very well. And I'm going to put a little white on my... And the bunny isn't just for Easter. We have bunnies all year long, right? All right, so I could put a pattern on for this, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to kind of wing it. I'm going to just grab a brush and kind of know how I want the shape of his head to be. I want him to start about here. Let's start him here. A little bit of a shape. I don't have a tracer for this, but if it's something that you would like me to get to you, by all means, put tracer in the comments, and I will come back and get you a link tomorrow to be able to have a tracer for the bunny part of it. But if you watch me, it's going to be pretty simple. I like to do my animals, as it is in this case, and try to give them some personality right away so I have something to look at and talk to when I'm painting. Anyone else do that? Essential Stencil really is an awesome company, and the community that you can become part of by getting to know us is awesome too. And if you haven't had an opportunity to find out anything about the Stencil of the Month Club, I highly encourage you to check out Essential Stencil's stencilofthemonthclub.com. This was this month's that had just tons and tons of Easter and spring things in it. This is probably, as simple as it is, probably my very favorite thing that I've done so far with the little set. And this is just a little tag, and the other side says, "Hey peeps." I just think that's going to be very cute, hanging off of somebody's special little wine bottle coming up for the holidays. But I did a couple other ones today. Stencil of the Month Club, you can cancel anytime. They come directly to you, and they are exclusive, so you're not getting things that you're going to find anywhere else. And just a lot of fun. So, all right, so far we have kind of cheeks and the beginning of a head. And I'm going to give myself an idea of an ear. I will promise you it will not look exactly like the last one. No two of mine look alike. I kind of like that. Not everybody does, but right now I'm just kind of, we'll call it giving him some placement. And he's going to have an ear that's going to come down this way. But like I said, I like to go ahead and get him some shape. And I'll go ahead right away and just pick up some white. And I'm just going to lighten up his cheeks area a little bit. I do get a little sidetracked painting when I'm doing this. But by all means, please, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. It's my favorite thing to do after I'm with you guys, is I go back and I look at the comments and I see what you had to say. And I'm going to put a little bit of white in the center of my ear, and maybe a little bit this way. I might have to fatten him up a little bit. Yeah, just a bit. Okay, so I've got an idea of where my ears are, where my cheeks are. And I'm just going to blending it a little bit, so it's a little lighter. And I'm just going to set that brush aside for a minute, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of pink. This happens to be, what is it? It is baby pink, and it again is deco art. And I haven't even cleaned my brush out. I'm just picking up a little bit of pink, and I'm going to pull some pink into my ears. This is going to be very simple and whimsical, but it'll be fun to peek out behind, and maybe I'll have to have some flowers too. I'm going to blush a little bit of pink on the outer edges of his cheeks. Just a touch. And then I'm going to pick up a smaller brush and go ahead and put his nose in. Let's see. That might not be small enough. How about this one? I have 50 million brushes, but sometimes not the right one at the right time. So I know I want his nose to be kind of up in this area. It's going to kind of make him like a triangle, pointing down. And I'm just going to wipe that off. And I'm going to come in with some black. And my eyes kind of have a slight slant in and a line down, and then they kind of follow the shape of his cheek. So it's a slight slant in, line down, and then kind of follow the line of his cheek. And I'm going to fill that in with black. When I get to the outer edge, I'm just going to kind of round it out so his eye's a little round on the outside too. Last time I did a porch liner, I got in trouble because my hair kept getting in the way. So I tucked it back in a hat today. But if you can't see, make a comment and I will do my best to adjust. I know it's a little harder to see everything on a porch liner because it's a little further away, but I think we're doing okay. So we got his eye on. I need to rinse my brush and grab some paper towels. I'm going to grab a skinnier brush, just like a little liner brush. And while I've got him, I'm going to pull him a couple little lines in the bottom and a couple little lines toward the top of his eye. Put the black on my liner brush. I'm just going to kind of sketchily go around his nose. Doesn't have to be perfect lines. Oh, someone's a bunny lover. I love it. Oops. I'm picking up a little more black paint. And I'm just going to give him a line down. And he's just kind of got a little, I don't know, like a little mountain, little V. Okay. So there is the beginning, at least, of him. I'm rinsing my brush. I guess I could have my water closer to me, couldn't I? And I'm going to pick up a little white paint just on the very, very tip of my brush. And I'm going to give him a dot kind of toward the left side of each of his eyes at the top. And then I'm going to give him a little slash down at the bottom. And then I'm going to slash across his nose. All right. We have something to look at. Oh, I keep putting my plate in front of you guys. I'm so sorry. So I'm going to lift this up for a second. See how that is? We've got our bunny's face. Let's go ahead and go back with our larger brush. You could probably even pick up one of the big chip brushes to fill in his body a little more, if that works better for you. I'm just going to pick up the gray again. And I'm going to come back and add more strokes, so I don't really care if he's covered completely. And I know he's going to have an arm that's going to come out because he's going to hold a carrot, I think. Let's bring him down a little further. Decide how he's going to be. You can decide how well-fed your rabbit is. We will not call it fat. We will just call it well-fed. It's really just kind of like a elongated half of an egg. Okay, there's our Easter part of our bunny. I'm going to just grab a little more paint. Oh, I really do appreciate all of you guys watching. I'd love for you to like our video and to let other people know that we are on and having a fun little time with our project. And our feet. How do our feet go? Well, it's just going to go this way. I obviously will bring some ground up to him. But for now, let's just get the idea of him in. Okay. So you can tell that this really has some blank spots, and that's okay. I'm just going to make sure my arm is far enough out. I'm going to give my guy a little bit of a white belly. So let's pull that white back in toward my gray. And I'm going to come back and start giving him some strokes that make him look a little more fuzzy. So with that, all I'm going to do is pick up my brush that has the gray on it. I'm going to pick up a little bit of black. And I'm just going to, starting inside, oops. Just going to pull from the inside. And I think the person who just told me my plate is in the way. It's kind of hard sometimes to know what you guys see and what I see. So I'm just starting in toward his fur, and I'm pulling out. So help outline him, define him a little bit. And I can come back in and add some more white for his inner ear if I need to. Should give him some little marks up here too. Just choppy little strokes. Just to kind of make him look a little more furry. Is he turning out okay, guys? He's getting more character. I like when my animals kind of have their own character, their own personality. I'm going to do the same thing around his cheeks. And again, I'm just picking up the gray and just picking up a little bit of black, kind of blending them together on my plate. And I'm just pulling it from the chisel edge of the brush. Now this happens to be a filbert brush, so it's got a little rounded edge, but I'm still getting the effect that I want. I'm going to do the same thing here. Pull some of these strokes all the way around him. I've got a piece of wood that's just come off. And let's go ahead and give him I'm going to give him a couple little strokes in here too, so he's got some more fur. Pull my plate away. Sorry, guys. You could come back around what I'm doing and do it with more of like a round brush. It just is going to take you a longer amount of time. And because this isn't our main focus is on stenciling tonight, I'm just trying to make him a cute background accent. And because I know I will have my words over him, let's just give him a couple of more strokes in here. Pick up some of that black. All right, I think we are about ready to give him something to hold. I think I'm going to have him hold a carrot, because he would be holding a carrot year-round, since bunnies eat carrots all year long too. So I'm going to find a bright orange. His ears are cute. Thanks. I like floppy-eared bunnies. I don't know what it is about them, but they just kind of make me smile. This is Bright Orange by DecoArt. And I'm just going to... I'm just going to make myself a carrot shape. I might need a little bigger brush. I'm going over wet paint, so I'm going to be just a little cautious here. And my carrots are kind of squiggly. You could have more than one if you wanted. While it's still wet, I'm going to pick up a darker orange and just streak some darker orange in there. Just little lines. Maybe outlining him a little bit. Oops, I just picked up gray paint. That would not work well. Let's just kind of... And I'm going to go ahead and pick up a little bit of white and just kind of highlight them here and there. And then we need some green. And we'll be able to switch over to our next step. Love the bunny. Thank you, guys. Really wouldn't matter which green. I'm going to use a brighter green. I think this is festive green. Yes, it is festive green. And I'm just going to... a bunny rag doll. So this is the beginning of the carrot, and part of it's going to show up here too. So I'm just going to be very wispy. And pull from that center. It appears I have company upstairs. There's always a lot going on in our household. I'm going to pick up a little bit of white. He could be holding a flower, but this one's holding a carrot. Okay, let me rinse that out. Let's try to get him a little closer to you guys so you can see him up front. So he's got his eyes, his cute little nose. Roger Bunny. And again, you could go back and add a lot more detail to him if you want. But you know what? The one detail I did forget that I think he definitely needs is I think he needs some whiskers. So I'm going to go back with my liner brush, my black. First, I'm going to make sure I can really see his nose. And then I'm going to, from his cheeks, pull some whiskers. Again, I am working on a piece of barnwood, so my lines kind of drag a bit, but that's okay. And I'm going to give him a couple little dots in his cheek area. And I think he's good to go. I don't want to lay my stencils down on him while he's wet, so I am going to grab a blow dryer just so I can make sure the parts that got a little over the top are a little drier. Do one more thing before I do that, just so I don't forget. I'm picking up some of that green, and I'm just going to brush it underneath his feet, and I'm just going to pull a couple little sprigs of green up over his feet like grass. I can come back and add more, but at least that way he's not standing in mid-air. Rinse my brush, and I grab a blow dryer real quick. This is always the fun part. Someone asked to see his face a little closer, so I'm going to try to move my camera closer. It's always interesting to do this because this is not how I normally, have my camera. Where are we? There he is. Can you see him a little better? All right, I'm going to move this back and try to get it back situated where you can see most of him. There's our bunny. All right, let's try. All right, so I've dried him enough here so I can lay down my stencil. This is very appropriate tonight. And I want to put him off a little further. And because I have that extra length, I'm going to be able to play around and make sure that I'm not covering up too much of his face. I just saw a spot that's a little too wet. So we'll just give it a little help. It's okay. I like having a little bit of a few little veins in my ears too, so we'll add those. We'll just make sure they're dry. So I'm thinking I might need your help one more time. We might need to decide what color our letter should be. Let's get it all lined up first. I'm away from his eyes. I'm going to go a little bit into his ears. I don't think I'm going to be able to avoid his ears, and I think if I go down any further, I might catch his eye, unless I want to go up a little bit. Yeah, I might want to do that. Because he just goes, the E is in there. And then the L goes more off to the side. The O is pretty much in no man's land. Okay. This is just something I wanted you to see that you can do with the stencils. That because they are transparent, they're very sturdy, but you still can see through them. I mean, you can see, oh, there's my watch, what's underneath there. So I'm able to move it around a bit and avoid important parts. Like I really wouldn't want the letters right over his eyes. All right, so once you get the stencils where you kind of want them, it's advisable to put them down with something other than just your hand. I like to at least tape a couple of them down. I'm double checking that my letters are lining up all the way down. Oops, I just moved that one, see? This is why it's advisable. And I just try to put the tape where I don't have anything else painted, okay? So I did not have a chance to look, but does anybody have a particular color they think that would be good? Green. That is what I did on the one that I showed you previously. What did I put in? So this was done with a light green. I don't think it would conflict with too much of anything, or we could go something very bright. I'm not sure we can go wrong. I do like the O and the there done in the white. I think that really helps it stand out. Light pink and green, aqua, oh, for fun. So guys, if you love this stencil, because it's good, you can do this all year long, which is one of the reasons I really like it. When you go to Essential Stencil, make sure if you decide to get any stencils to use the discount code CHEERS, and you'll get 10% off. And if you choose to go to Stencil of the Month, you'll also get a discount on your first month. So, cheers. Just like my business name, Cheers to Creativity. It's kind of easy to remember. Okay, black. Okay, boy, we've got all sorts of good suggestions. Magenta. I really thought about a coral, but I'm afraid the coral might blend a little too much into my wood tone. If I had done this in a background, like a white background or a pickled background, that could have been very pretty. I want to kind of avoid colors like lavender, because I think that makes it a little too Eastery. So somebody said aqua. This is Laguna. That might be really pretty. The pink might pull from his ears, or it might be a little too springy too. You know what? This is one of my new kind of go-to colors. So let's see what we can do with that. I'm going to get a clean plate. And there's dogs barking. So should I do the O and the there a different color? Or just maybe lighten this up quite a bit? Okay, same color. Okay, here we go. Let's go. So I'm going to put this is actually Laguna, and I'm going to grab one of the Essential Stencil brushes. Love the brushes. They wash out super, super well, and mine get well used or possibly abused, and they just bounce right back. Always, 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 when you are stenciling, have yourself some paper towels or something that you can offload onto, because if we go directly from here to here, we will have a mess, and that's not what we want. So we always want to make sure we are getting the paint really good into our bristles. That doesn't mean up far, it just means that we're getting it all the way across. But then I'm always making sure I'm taking some off, either on my plate or my paper towel. Okay, so I'm going to start with my O. You could do the up and down motion. Because I'm working on this wood that is a little more porous, I find that most of the time, as long as my stencil is securely held, again, another reason why I like to make sure there's a little bit of tape going on, I find the swirling generally works really well and does not cause bleed if I'm holding my stencils down well. Okay. Since this is just a one word thing, I'm going to pick it up and see it. I'm a little concerned it might not be showing as well as I like. And you can't see that at all, so I'm going to try to bring you guys back over and see. So there we have the O. What do we think? Do we think it's dark enough? Too dark? Pretty good? Yes, the Essential Stencil brushes are awesome. All right, I'm going to set him down right here so that you're a little closer. Whoa. When we go to do the next letter. All right, are we seeing things better? Good color. Thanks. All right, so I'm going to keep on with our Laguna. So we're going to the H. Again, it has a little tape on it, but I am holding it down as well. Someone said to do a white shadow line. That would be a really good idea too. Oftentimes when we have letters that aren't popping, just adding a little bit of a contrasting color and or white, which could be contrasting, can really, really help. Okay. So I'm just going to peek to make sure it's looking good. I might add just a tiny bit more. On this side, it's gotten a little light. And again, too, I said it several times that I'm working with old wood. So wood in general soaks things up. Old wood soaks things up even more. Almost forgot to offload. That could have been bad. That's why there are Q-tips and baby wipes to help with errors. Thank you. Whoever said the bunny is so cute. I think he's kind of fun. All All right, I'm going to scoot you. We should see L's here in a second. Yeah, I'm really liking that color too. I think it's really going to stand out nicely. Need a little more paint. My board is about 13 inches wide by a little over 5 feet long, by 5'3", I believe. Again, I don't know which barn it came from, but you could easily do this on a slightly more narrow board. I could have made my bunny a little skinnier. Or if you really liked the way it looked with just the flowers that I had on the original. Let's show you this guy real quick. This is a much narrower board. I will measure that before we are done, but I'm guessing it's about just a little more than half the width of this one. I think there is actually a tape measure right here. So the one that I did with flowers is about 8.5 inches wide. All right, let's finish our lettering. Next up is our L. Porch letters are hard to do live because I like to watch what you guys are saying and see what's going on, and you can't see the project if I keep you lifted all the way. So I moved you down again. I'm going to make sure you can see the O and the last word. This is the Oh Hello There Porch Leaner Stencil. Take a little more off, almost there. I get some really deep ridges in that, right where that O is, so I needed to kind of go back and forth a little bit there. And I'm going to get the there in here. Boy, this board is really taking up some paint here. Especially as I get down toward the bottom, it seems like it really wants to take paint. So let's get this there in here really well. Okay. And set that aside just to make sure that all my letters are okay. Like to lift as straight up as possible. Off to the side. Make sure you guys are commenting that because Essential Stencil will be picking 3 winners that I'll announce at the end of our time together. Try to get you so you can see a little more of them. Okay. I really like the color. I think it turned out really nicely. So you can save 10% on the Oh Hello There stencil or any of the stencils. And right now all the lemon tag stencils and the lemon 6x6s are all on sale, and you would save an additional 10%. All right, so cute. Missed that. What brand is the Laguna? All my paints are DecoArt Americana paints. I'm sure there are other colors and other brands, it would be similar. But I really like the consistency of decor paint. When I am finished with my guy, I am gonna add some highlights to the letters here in just a second. But when he's completely dry, and I do let him dry completely, like overnight, I will give him 2 coats of polyacrylic before he goes outside. All right, so I want to highlight my letters a little bit. So I'm going to try to bring you back here. Let's see what we see. And since I know I'm done with my brush, I'm going to make sure it goes in water so it doesn't get dried out. And I'm going to pick up some white paint and either a liner or a round brush, whatever you are comfortable with. I'm just going to go under here, here, go under my H. You can line an accent as much or as little as you want. We are losing our H. Need to move you a little bit. Hang on, guys. See how that is. Is that better or worse? There you go. So my E, I'm going to go on here. I'm going to go get all the way on my upper H. I'm going to go underneath him, a little bit here. Really want to highlight where I've got. And go under him too, because since I did there, let's go ahead and do here. Does that help make those letters pop a little bit? Go on this side. I'm using like a 3 round just because it holds a lot more paint than a liner does. If I were doing this on smooth wood, I might be able to go to a skinnier brush. And don't worry if you have lines that are a little fatter. No one's going to come up and tell you that the line on your second L is thicker than the first one. And if they do, you have my permission to tell them that they're not nice people and they should go away. Can't really drag my hand or I'll end up with splinters. Do my O. So I'm going to go on the outside here. Pick up a little more paint. Oops, excuse me. And come on this side. I didn't do anything to the O or the there, but I think I will come back and add a little bit to that. So if you're just getting started with stenciling, first I really do recommend the Essential Stencil brushes. They work exceptionally well. Like I said, they clean up really good, and you will find that sometimes the cleanup of brushes is as important as their performance. When you buy inexpensive stencil brushes, oftentimes you end up with hairs that come out, a lot of them. It's very common for a hair or two to come out, but not clumps of them. I like royal brushes, but I'm also used to picking up just about anything I can find. You'll want a good round, you'll want a good liner, and you'll want a couple flats just to help you fill in some of your other areas. Let's kind of lift him up a little bit. Okay. So I could add a couple little flowers for him. What do you think? Should we add just a few flowers to give him just a little bit? I wrapped these flowers around the letters, but I think what I might do is just have a couple come up on him on the one side. That way you can see the flowers being done as well. Let me make sure. We're going to come up about here. I'm trying to avoid my carrot, guys. So I'm just going to slant it a little bit. I'll move you back, tape this down, and set you back here for just a second. And you should be able to see him in just a sec. There. So I'm going to just pick up a brighter green. I think I'll pick up the same green that I used in my carrot. And as much as I love Essential Stencil brushes, sometimes using the little makeup sponges is good in some of the small areas. And that is what I'm going to do right this moment with my green. I'm going to go in with my little makeup sponge that I've actually cut in half. And I'm going to make sure I dab it off. And wherever I see green, or what I want to be green, I'm going to do with this. And I can come back and add some extra stems if I need to. But the idea here is just to get, and don't forget that your little bottom part of your flower would be green too, the little calyx part down there. There's my green leaves. And if this doesn't turn out to be dark enough, I can always pick up something a little darker, maybe even a little Hauser green dark. This, like I said, was Fiesta. And I'm even going to go where part of my leaf is going off and my stem is going off. So we're just going to do a couple little ones here so you can see them. Oops. Pick up a little darker color too, just to add a little more depth to those. So I'm going to use the same sponge I used. Laguna looks good on my fingers too, huh? Maybe not everywhere, but just a few spots. I said it before, I do not currently have a tracer for the bunny, but if it's something that you would like, just put tracer in the comments and I will make up a tracer and get it available to you guys tomorrow. Just come back here and take a quick peek. This flower that I'm using is part of a 2 floral set. It was actually called the Sunflower Floral Set. So it had this kind of, I don't know, columbine-y flower. And then the other one is the big sunflower, which is really a lot of fun to do, especially in the fall. And I thought I had an example of that one, too. That is the sunflower one that is part of this stencil set. All right, let's put a couple flowers in here. I think we're going to go with some nice purple flowers. So I've got dioxide purple, again, DecoArt, and I'm going to tap a clean sponge into that and a little bit of white. I'm going to avoid the centers of my flowers. Because I want those to be yellow. I can vary my petals being lighter and darker by adding a little more white or sticking to straight purple. And I'm going to grab a touch of yellow. And I just tore off my sponge. I'm going to use the same sponge, just the clean part of it. And just dab my centers in yellow. I could also just use the wooden end of my brush if I wanted to. I'm going to show you that here in a sec as well. All right. Oh, that's sweet. Added the little bit of flowers there. And then just to add a little more, I'm going to take the wooden end of my brush. This is just, I'm going to go into the yellow and I'm going to go dip, dot, 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 dot. And so my dots are going to get smaller with each dot I do. So dip, dot, 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 dot. My dog is down here playing with a sanding pad. I'll take that, Piper. Piper. And she will have it destroyed before we are finished. All right, I'm going to try to walk you up and down our bunny here one more time. So there's our little flowers that we added. We added some white highlights in our letters. Here is our sweet bunny's face. And let's see how good I can do lifting up to see what you can see. All right, set you down. So I'm going to, there you guys are. Love it. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was fun to paint with you. And I'm going to look at my iPad here and see who our winners are. I've not had to do this, so give me a little grace here. And we'll see who they are. When I do find the winners, please email support@essentialstencil.com and they will be glad to get you your stencils. So, let me see. Ruben, you might need to send those to me because I'm not seeing them. Congratulations, winners. Alyssa Kurtz, Pam Roycroft, Pat Meador Larson. Please email support@essentialstencil and let us know you're a winner of today's live for your prize. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, let your friends know when the ambassadors are on and sharing with you so they can find out new projects to do. I'd love for you to stop by Cheers to Creativity. And until I see you again, please be safe, be kind, and cheers. Goodbye.